We're going to talk about sharing files with Google Drive. And this is like one of the core advantages and core features of being a Google Apps for Education district is the ability to share documents and work collaboratively with each other on documents. We never had that ability before we were a Google admin, Google for Education district. Just the only way we could work on documents together was just to send emails back and forth with a document attached to it. So that's been like a pretty big jump. However, if you don't understand, the fundamentals of how documents are shared in Google, then uh, it can get confusing. And so I wanted to talk in depth about that today. We have talked in past training sessions. Almost every single session we have talked about sharing. And so I thought today we would just go in depth into it. First of all, is the correct way to share a document via email. And then we're going to talk about what are the different levels of document permissions and how to share a folder and everything in it. And then in part 2, we're going to talk about how to create and use a team drive. And I have the question there, does technology have to do this? And the answer is no. Anybody can create a team drive. Even your students can. You can divide your students up into teams and they can create a team drive for themselves to work together in. So anybody that is that has an account in the domain can create a team drive. And then we're going to talk about one of the most difficult challenges is finding something that's shared with you. Once it's shared with you, how do you find it again? Because that can be a little bit challenging. So first thing of all, the correct way to share documents via email. That kind of depends on what you want the person you're sharing it with to be able to do with the document once you've sent it to them. If you just want them to have a copy of the document, then the best thing to do is just go to the file menu and go download and download it as a Word document or a PDF. That's usually where I go. There's all different kinds of other formats here, but the Word document and the PDF are kind of universal formats that everybody will be able to handle. So I can just download this as a PDF. Oh, I need to increase what I'm sharing from my screen. I downloaded that, and here it is right there. It's that PDF. So that went to my downloads folder, and if you're on a PC, it's still most likely in your downloads folder. And then I can just go and I've downloaded it and I can go and just attach it to an email like you've probably done a million times and share it that way. So that's one way of sharing a document. Another way is to just, let me go up to share here, and I can add Brandon. I can say, hey, Brandon, I'm going to share this document. It's pretty nice to include this note with the email that gets sent. Uh, wants an apostrophe. All right, so I can send that. And he shared one with me when somebody shares a document, you get an email just like this. And he wrote the note as requested. So I can see what he wrote there, and all I have to do is click on it, and it opens up that the spreadsheet. There isn't much there. I just asked him before we started to share a document with me so that I could show you how that looks. You probably are very familiar with this by now, because this is probably something that's happened quite a few times. But that is how, when you're sharing the document and you add them and it asks, that's where that email gets generated from, is when you share that document. Now, this document, I want to talk about how to make a copy of the document, because this is probably where a lot of the confusion that I get comes from. People have received an email that a document has been shared with them, but they want access to make changes. Well, he shared it in such a way that I can make changes, but most of the time they just have read access when it's shared. And so they can't make changes, and they want to make changes. And if that's what you want, then the document owner that shared it out needs to go back to the share button and make those changes, and we'll go deeper into that later. But if you just want them to have a copy of that and it's shared with them, they can always something's changed. It's asking me to reload. Oh, he removed my edit permissions, I think. Yeah. So now I can only view. However, that's fine. If I want a copy of this, I can just go under the file menu and choose make a copy. I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to ask me if I want to rename that. I often change the name to include the person that shared the document with me, and then I can choose where in my folder. I'm going to choose the temp folder. Where am I in my documents folder is that share going to land? And then I can say OK. So a lot of times when a document is shared with you, but you want to make changes, and the original author has only give you view only access, then you just make a copy for yourself under the file menu, and then you can make you own that. You are the owner of that copy, and so you can do whatever you want with it. So that's something you need to know as when you're sharing files, is that you'll see that all of these permissions stack on each other. And so anytime you share with someone, you are also giving them permission to make a copy of that something. So right. And that includes anything that was shared with you. There's a way to make a copy of any type of document that was shared with you.